guys, Haz here at Shield K9, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about something that I haven't seen a lot of trainers talk about: rewards. Now I know you're saying, what are you talking about? Haz, a lot of trainers talk about rewards. Not like this. I've seen trainers practice it without thinking about it and use it in their daily training with the dogs, but I've never seen anyone really break it down and talk about it properly. I'm going to do that today for you guys. Rewarding a dog isn't myopic, and I think a lot of people view it very myopically. If they're training with food, then for them the reward is the food. If they're training with a ball, then for them the reward is, yeah, here's your ball. You did a good job. Here's your paycheck. Here's your ball. Done. It's very one-dimensional. But rewards can be so much more than that. Everything about how you reward your dog is important. If you make it just about the thing that you're giving your dog, then that's how you're going to get to that place that we call bribery. The way that you do everything in the context of rewarding your dog has an enormous impact on your dog's performance. I'm not talking just about making your dog happy. I'm talking about actually making the training faster. The location of the reward is important. Am I giving the food from the left hand? Am I allowing him to eat high, or am I feeding him low? Am I feeding him in the position or out of the position? All these things matter. So let's talk a little bit about the different ways in which you would reward a dog and the circumstances that would impact the reward delivery. All right, so I have broken it down into two types of reward: static reward and dynamic reward. Static reward is a reward that you give the dog in behavior, in position. So for instance, if I'm training a sit and my dog assumes the sit, I reward him in the sit. Then there's dynamic reward. Dynamic reward is a reward that the dog has to go to get. I tell him to sit, I mark, and I actually create the food delivery out of the sit. So he has to leave the sit in order to get his reward. I tell him down, he downs, and I throw his ball away, and he has to actually get up and go get the ball. Even praise. I tell the dog down, he downs, and I say break, and I play with him and praise him. I make the act of breaking an actual reward. I don't just make it a one-dimensional good boy and we're done. Dynamic rewards and static rewards both have their place in the training program. And it depends on the kind of dog that you're dealing with and what specifically you're trying to do. If I have a dog who's really high energy and I'm trying to get him to hold position for like a half a second, I'm gonna give him a lot of rewards in that down. Static rewards, and he's going to learn that the paycheck comes to him if he's in that position. If I have a dog who breaks positions a lot, well, guess what? He's going to get a lot of paychecks in that down to create stability in that position. Now, there are a lot of dogs, especially pet dogs, that maybe don't have a lot of drive, or maybe a little bit fearful. This is where I'm going to start to use dynamic rewards. So let's say I'm using some pressure to create behavior or to fix a problem or whatever it is, and I see the dog starting to get a little bit down. Well, I might move from a static to a dynamic reward, where instead of rewarding the dog in the sit, I'm actually stepping away and rewarding the dog out of the sit, maybe even getting them to chase the food a little bit. Static rewards are great for building positions and strengthening them versus dynamic rewards, where a lot of the time the dog has to break the position that I've put the dog in to get the reward. And of course, you're going to use marker words to make it clear for the dog why they're getting the reward, but the actual delivery of the reward isn't always going to be in position. The mark allows the dog to identify the specific instance. So let's say this is a chain of behavior. Each one of these dashes represents something your dog is doing, and you want to make a dynamic reward. So you're kind of playing with the dog and the dog hits the correct behavior. You mark right there, and the dog comes out of the position to get that reward. He still identifies that that specific instant, that thing he was doing when he heard the mark, right, the red X, is what yielded the reward, but the reward delivery can actually be out of X, if you guys understand that. For the static reward, let's just say all those crazy dashes and dots, this is all different behaviors that the dog is offering. Or I'm trying to get him into the position, he's constantly bumping out of the position, he's doing constantly the wrong thing. The instant that he hits the right position, I'm going to say to him, let's say there, okay? I'm going to say that right there. And then I'm going to give the reward constantly to him there. And I'm going to create stability in that position. We tend to view behavior unidimensionally. But if you really think about everything your dog does a lot of different things. They wag your tail, they spin in a circle. There's 100 different things that your dog is doing in a given minute. And sometimes they follow a specific pattern, especially under certain circumstances. So when I'm training, whether I'm being dynamic or static in my reward delivery, depends completely on the dog. And you're going to see all through my training videos examples of both dynamic and static reward. Okay guys, so I'm going to use Fenrir here, a young German Shepherd, to describe what it is that I'm doing. You can see he's a little bit of a excited guy, you know, higher energy. So what I'm going to do with him is I'm going to start first with the static rewards. I'm going to start with a down, all right? So We're gonna make the down. Oh yeah, very nice. And you can see there that the reward delivery came in the position. Break. Okay. Push. And you can see for him, he's a pretty excitable kind of guy. So I'm probably gonna do more static rewards to build up the concept of position in this dog's mind. Let's talk a little bit about dynamic rewards. Sit. And you can see I still mark the instance that he's correct, but the reward delivery comes at a distance. This is an example of dynamic and static rewards. You don't want to be robotic with your dog. You want to keep things interesting, and you want to do things to keep the dog balanced in his or her emotion. I can't think of any training where I want the dog to be super closed in and to have a really kind of slow and passive, very reactive kind of behavior. I want an active, happy, willing participant in all the things that we're doing, even when sometimes the things that we're doing are a little bit hard.